I can talk about the time that Grandpa Dave took me for a drive in his blue truck. Because Grandpa Dave didn't drive very much.
No,
And
he didn't like driving.
he took me on a road trip. Not, I call it a road trip, but it was like probably like a 10-minute drive, but it felt like forever. And we go and then he decides like we got to go back. And then he stops off at their mailbox, but he has to like do a U-turn. And I think him doing the U-turn probably took longer than us actually driving to that location. And I've never seen him so frustrated in all my life. He was like this, like you'd utter under his breath or whatever. And we finally get back and he was just he was a little over it.
I remember Grandpa Dave taking me in his pickup truck, his blue truck.
Yeah.
Same thing, probably out to one of the pastures because he had pastures
All
that
over.
he kept horses in. But he would probably he couldn't have Granny drive him everywhere, especially when she was working. But he would take his blue truck out and feed them or do whatever, and they weren't that far away. But he was not comfortable driving. I don't know why. I wonder if any of the older cousins can tell us why Grandpa Dave did not like driving. Maybe he was just bad at it.
Yeah.
But I think if I remember correctly, my brother was with us and we were maybe young teenagers, maybe not even quite that old. And somebody, a sketchy looking man was hitchhiking and Grandpa decided to pick him up.
Oh.
And not like make him sit in the back, but make him squish in beside me.
Perfect.
And like it was like even at that age, at that era, I knew that's not cool.
Do you?
But fun times with Grandpa Dave.
Oh yeah, great ones. Do you remember our big red van, Grandpa Con's big red van? And it had no front seat.
Yes.
So they would take like one of the chairs from the bar and put it in the front.
I just told this story recently. Well, that I remember going somewhere with your grandpa, and it was a road trip, and it was just him and me, and I think probably from Leroy to Saskatoon. Like he's probably driving me home or something. And I was sitting on one of those fold-up lawn chairs, the waffle chairs. It they're nothing bolting me down, nothing, you just.
That was terrible.
And it's not like the rural Saskatchewan roads were all that smooth, so you're just like kind of hanging on for dear life.
Well, one time we decided it was Grandpa, Granny Carol, and myself, and we were going out to Kipabiska, and it's in the middle of the night, and we're driving or whatever, and there was somebody hitchhiking. They needed a ride, and they hop in, and they have to hop into this like chair, like almost like an office chair, right? And he was like, "What is this?" Like, so like wasn't even safe. Yeah, it was terrible.
I had to ask though, was it safer than you continuing to hitchhike?
Right. But I mean, even for us, I was like, "Who are you?" I was little.
Yeah,
I was like, "I'm this person up."
That was definitely a different time when you just pick up hitchhikers.
My dad did. One time. We were on our way to Tisdale, and he was going to see his sister, and he had to stop off to go talk to his brother-in-law, and he picked up 2 hitchhikers, drove there, stopped, got out, left me in the van with these 2 individuals. Well, he went and talked to my uncle.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, at the time, I was like, young. I didn't really know. But looking back on it now, I was like, he left the van running with 2 strangers and his kid in there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Different time.
Honestly, like hitchhiking was such a thing, and it's like I would have just been too scared to hitchhike or get picked up, or to like pick up a hitchhiker. I would have just been too scared.
I've hitchhiked twice in my life, and both times I lucked out, and it was somebody. Well, the first person was somebody I went to school with, so that was fine. The second time, it was
It's always the
somebody.
person you know.
Hmm?
So it's always the person you know
I
who
know,
kills
I
you.
know. Um,
Mhm.
and then we were stuck in Edmonton. My friend and I, we were stuck in Edmonton, and we were hitchhiking home, and the person that picked us up was going to meet her friend's sister at Denny's. So he picked us up and took us to Denny's, and then she gave us a ride back to Devon and never
Oh my
hitchhiked
gosh.
again.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
The
Have
things
you
we
heard
do.
any I know, have you heard any of those hitchhiker stories where I'm not going to get this right, but I think it was, now I don't know if this is like an urban legend or if I actually heard it
Yeah.
somewhere, which makes it a urban legend. I don't know. It's a friend of a friend of a,
Yeah.
but in Saskatchewan, where, oh, I gotta look this up, but the RCMP, there's a whole like category for almost like paranormal activity in the hitchhiking
Oh.
circles. So like so many reports of somebody picking up a hitchhiker, and then the hitchhiker says something like they're an angel, or they disappear, they're all of a sudden not there in the back seat or something like that. But it's this whole like it's enough of times
Yeah.
that happens that they have a name for it, and it's like a real thing. And
No.
I'm spacing on what it exactly is, but
Yeah. No, I'm good. I think I'm good.
no, we're gonna circle back
I
to that
know.
in another episode. I'm gonna find the
Yeah.
information and see what that is. But it's something about it, maybe it's everywhere, but I do remember it being like Saskatchewan, like those kind of long,
Hmm.
lonely roads. You pick up somebody, and in those cases, like sometimes people would just pick somebody up because they're trying to stay awake.
Yeah.
But what's that joke where they pick up somebody picks up a hitchhiker, and they're driving along, the person's driving, and the passenger is like, aren't you worried that I'm a serial killer or
Yeah.
something? And he's like, not really. And he's like, why not? Like, you just picked me up off the side of the road, I could be anybody. Because he's like, statistically speaking, there wouldn't be two serial killers in the car.
Yeah.
The driver was a serial
Yeah.
killer.
It's something I would say because I don't want him to
Statistically
be the
speaking.
killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even think of it. I'd probably just be murdered. That would be that.
I was too traumatized by scary situations that I'm on edge. So I'm always
Yeah.
looking for it.
You're prepared.
Oh, yeah.
You're like Girl Guide prepared.